What's up, my loves? It's your girl Diamond, and I'm back with an all-new review for an all-new show, Kandi and the Game. Let's get into it. It premiered last night. I am excited for it, and I feel like we're going to be in a whirlwind of mess. So, talking about the OLG, Old Lady Gang restaurant. It was a dream that happened 5 years ago, and it's been a success. But ever since the pandemic, everything has been dwindling down. They've lost 2 general managers. The staff has been doing whatever they want to do. There's no leadership. There's no order. It's all out of order. And things are starting to crumble. So they are counting on a new director of operations to lead them into shape, right? So Kandi and Todd are arriving at the restaurant, and of course it's been noticeable that Kandi and Todd have not been at the restaurant lately because they have other business ventures that takes their time. So they pretty much have what's the word I'm trying to find, not paid much attention to the shop until all of the inspection fails, health inspections. Things have been coming up in the blogs lately about their restaurant, the reviews. So they're going to talk about some changes, you know what I'm saying? So they're going to bring in a new person, new director of operations. His name is Philip. He's 36. He's from Atlanta, Georgia. He's a ball buster. That's how he described him. He was I think he still is a director of operations for Blaze. And they're asking him, can he come over to OLG to whip everybody into shape? Everybody hasn't been paying attention to who Philip is. They think he's there to change the menus, so they don't know who his title is. So they're having a full staff meeting to explain everything. So they're trying to have a staff meeting before the restaurant open, and they have a certain time that they want it to be open. But we see Don Juan. Hey, Don Juan. You know, he's Kandi's right-hand man. He's in charge of everything else that Kandi has her hands in for business. But of course, it's not Don Juan's responsibility to be at the OLG restaurant every single day when he has other things to do for Kandi. So, yeah, I already said that. So Philip has been in the restaurant field for the last 16 years, and he wanted to work for a Black-owned business that's providing job opportunities for his community. And that's all Kandi is about. Kandi is all about black power, black magic, everything. She's all about giving opportunities to people. So we meet the other staff members of the OLG. We meet Chandraka. I'm about to come up with a nickname because Chandraka sounds a lot, so I might just say Shauna or Draka, one of those. She's 31. She's from Buffalo, New York. She was the original, well, she is an original hostess of OLG. She was there when it first started. She has a side hustle for selling designer sunglasses. They have 3 hostess, but it's been noticeable that Draka has the most attitude. They've gotten complaints from customers that she has a very nasty attitude. It showed a little bit of how she talks to people. And that's where pretty much it starts off with looking at the characteristics of the people who are in the restaurant. We meet another staff member. She's Dom Unique. She's a bartender. She's 32. She's from Miami, Florida. Her side hustle is a professional dancer. She's been in Atlanta for the last 5 years pursuing her dream of being a dancer. But since that was her dream, being a bartender at the restaurant has been second to her first dream, being a dancer. And she has worked and danced for so many different artists. Her favorite artist was dancing for Megan Thee Stallion. And she has the privilege of leaving OLG for a month to go dance and come back and still have a job. That's really amazing. That is a privilege. That is a blessing to be able to have that balance. But I think that that's kind of what they want people to understand. Like, we understand you having a side project, a side hustle, a side passion, but you were hired to work for here. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't know if Dominique could really let go of working solely professionally as a dancer, because there are a lot of dancers who do have side hustles when they can't have a job. So maybe she's in that balance, you know. We meet Brandon. Brandon is the manager of the OLG restaurant. He's from New York. He's 33. He's also a workplace flirt. We've gotten that this episode. So he's a good manager, but since they lost their last GMs, Brandon kind of took on the role, but he did not have the proper training to actually handle everything that came with it. So that's pretty much, you know, one of the issues that they have. And then we have the old lady gang, which is Aunt Bertha, Aunt Nora, and Mama Joyce. All right. Philip says there really isn't much respect for authority. And that's part of the problem, because the aunts and her mama have made the staff feel like they're not good enough. They don't need to work here, you know. And the family restaurant was inspired by the aunts and Mama Joyce, you know, for them to share their recipes, but they did not expect for them to come in all the time and just berate people, tell them what they not doing. You can't work here. You're an attitude. Like we've seen back and forth with, what was it, Aunt Nora telling them she'll throw them over the fence. I'm like, oh my God. Yeah, so it's kind of like I did not think we gave them the ability, or I don't know why they think they have the ability to talk to people like they crazy. Like you can't talk to people crazy like with this at work. You can't. Right. She says her Aunt Nora acting like she could beat people up because they do that themselves, the old lady gang. But y'all can't beat up on people. They even asked them in the confessionals, do you guys consider yourselves a gang? No, we go to church. Except for Kandi's mom. Mama Joyce don't go to church that often. Excuse me. So everybody comes to the front to do the staff meeting. And obviously it was a surprise to see Kandi and Ty because they haven't been around lately. Sometimes when you see the bosses, somebody thinks somebody's getting fired. So they formally introduced Philip as the director of operations. And they will be having some upgraded services, upgraded decorations. And everything can run smoothly so we can still be a working ship. Guys, meet Philip. He is now the director of operations of OLG. Draca already has an attitude. She says, ugh, I don't like him. I'm like, you haven't even you don't know him. Why do you have an attitude already? Listen, it could feel like somebody's coming in who doesn't go here, could take over something, but he's obviously good at what he does. I mean, he's a director of operations at Blaze, so he knows how to maneuver from a different restaurant, you know? So obviously everybody can feel the negative energy that's coming from her, and it's just kind of like, okay, don't read too much into it. It'll bring back old times because that's what they're trying to do. Get it back to how it used to be, you know? And she just talked about how since she's been there from the beginning in the last 4 years, they've had tons of general managers and everything. So you have to have the patience and the ability to talk to the people here in order to keep this job. So good luck. I don't know if something has happened I don't know what happened that caused the last GMs to quit. So I don't know if that's what Chandraka is saying. It takes a lot for somebody to manage this place. It takes a lot. So good luck. So again, just trying to make sure that we're not trying to make no dramatic changes. We're not trying to push y'all out or anything. We're just trying to come in and have you guys come in more order, because we need order. There hasn't been any order in lately, you know. And Philip lets it be known, listen, I'm not trying to change y'all, but we need to get it right. And if you don't like it, you can get out. So they're having a reunion with the old staff members integrating with the new staff members. So everybody can get reacquainted, because they used to have a lot of celebrations for the staff and everything else before the pandemic. So they want to get back to that feel of everybody having a good time. So obviously Don Juan, who can feel the energy, he tells Shauna, come on, let's have a conversation. And why do you have an attitude with Philip? Well, I don't like him. Well, you don't know him. And at the end of the day, he is your boss. So what he says goes. So obviously, you know, after the meeting started, they can feel the negative energy. And Shauna don't like the fact that Philip said it straightforward. Listen, if you don't like how I work, I do things, how I feel like the restaurant should be, you know, handled, you can go ahead and leave. That's what you can do. So Shauna don't like being talked at. She don't like being, you know, with the aggressive tone, you know. And they're going back and forth, and she already has an attitude. She already has that energy. I don't like you. I don't like the energy you're giving me, but it's vice versa. So and he said, first of all, I'm not going to tolerate listening to an hourly employee that I hire on a level of professionalism. That's what I'm not going to do. I'm not going to do. I'm not going to go back and forth with you. You know what I'm saying? It's pretty much all about what's been happening. They've been able to do things. So pretty much, y'all have had the ability to do things without nobody telling you. And right now, somebody's telling you, you find that a little bit of an issue. You know, sense of authority. You don't like being... I was kind of going back and forth with Shauna in this situation, because that was me When I worked in the retail field, I didn't like being taught that. I really didn't. And it wasn't like I did not respect my boss. It was because I just felt like you're talking to me like I'm a child. Like, I don't like being taught that, you know? But I do understand that you are my boss, and I do have to have a level of respect because you sign my checks, you make my schedule. So I really need to be on my best behavior and pretty much bite my tongue and just say, okay, I see what you mean. And even though Philip does have a rude demeanor, he has like a sergeant, tight ass, uptight, you know, manager, you know, attitude about him. It's kind of like you're gonna have to figure out a way to just not feel like it's an attack on you, because it's not an attack on you. It's just what you need to work on, be better at, because obviously Shauna does have an attitude problem. That is correct. We've seen that, and that needs to be fixed. Kandi feels uncomfortable with bringing someone in that could pretty much rub people off the wrong way, because the people who's been at the restaurant have been loyal since day one. And Kandi is all about loyal. She's all about giving people a chance, don't want to make them feel any bad. But Tyler's like, listen, they're not going to get whipped into shape. We could easily find new people. I understand friends and family who's hired there, but they're not going to get a pat on the back. They're not going to get a woo-woo. They're not going to get, you know, a soft approach of how to do better, because they're not going to do it. They're going to take your kindness and your generosity for weakness. They're going to take advantage of it. So we need to be steadfast on that. And yeah. So basically, at the end of the day, you don't have to work here, because Philip has said, I'm not going to walk on eggshells from somebody who doesn't like how I you know, manage this ship. If you don't, because I am your boss. If you want to, she said, I want to talk to Don Juan. Okay, you can talk to Don Juan about not working here anymore. That's what you can do. I was like, damn, Philip. I mean, he was really like I said, I was split, because I understood exactly how he was trying to do it, and I understand how Shauna could take away, but I feel like y'all have not had any leadership in so long. So it's definitely an uncomfortable feeling for having somebody that you've never met to be a boss all over. I completely understand that. So, and Philip said, I'm not in any way threatened by Shauna. She's a greeter. I was like, Philip, don't do that. Don't talk down at her profession. She's a hostess. Don't do that. Don't do that. You know what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure you started out small. I'm pretty sure you started out as a busboy before you became where you at in 16 years in the restaurant. Don't do that. So Shauna is definitely irritated. She starts to cry, showing like someone coming at her aggressive. Don said, listen, we all have to work our way. We all have to come together. And Don Juan agreed that he is a stick in the mud, tight in the ass, everything. Very sergeant military. And he even feels like that's not who he hired to do business, but this is what Kandi wants, and this is what we're going to have to do, you know? So they ended up going past their time to open up the restaurant. Everybody's waiting outside. It's a long line. I bet it's hot. And this is something that's also unprofessional, and I know what happens in the workplace. So while they're trying to set up, we see Shauna talking to Dominique about what happened, and he feels like, for real, that's what we gonna do? Go ahead and clock out. We just had a conversation about this, and you want to go gossiping to another staff member? Go ahead and clock out. I'm like, you know what? I understood what he did when he did that, because everybody gossips about a manager or a boss. We all do that. I've done that. But I feel like at that point, that was literally right in front of his face, and y'all just had a conversation. Things did not settle down. That was unprofessional of her to have a sidebar conversation with another member of the restaurant about what happened. And he's like, listen, you want to gossip all day? You want to work? If not, clock out. So I'm like, okay. You go home, you done for the day. So she even went on live and said, I went home because of bullshit. I'm like, Shauna, don't do it. Don't do it. She said, I'm not from Atlanta. I will give you attitude if you give me attitude. You know what I'm saying? It's vice versa. But I feel like, Shauna, this is the point where you need to take a slice of humble pie. And you need to realize how you came off. Period. So they need to find another host to serve, and until the next shift comes in. So they fired her, you know. Oh no, not fired her. They sent her home for the day because she was still trying to, like, you know, act brand new. She was still having an attitude. Now, I know it could have been, you know, squashed later on, but this was something that just happened. But I feel like he was saying, listen, it's your problem. You could be mad all day, but right now we need to run this business. We need to open these doors. He said sometimes you have to weed out tenured employees because they tend to feel entitled. So I don't know if Shauna feels like since she's been there since the beginning, she can't get touched. she can't get reprimanded. Even Don Juan told Kandi what happened, and she was like, you didn't have to send her home. Why you have to send her home? Because Ty said, listen, in the day, he sent a message. Be disrespectful, you can go home. Now, see, Kandi don't want that. She don't want bad things, but I know, but as a boss, you are going to have to speak directly, clearly to your employees so that there's no bullshit hanging from this, right? So, Kandi goes to her aunt's house to speak to her mom and her aunts about the changes and how they feel about the staff. Aunt Nora is 82. She's feisty. She gets free hugs. She loves to dance. Aunt Bertha, 80. She's the side-eye queen. Speaks her mind and she's sassy. I know. Mama Joyce, she's 72. She's wild. She gets all the tea and she's the life of the party. Y'all, Kandi's mom and aunts look amazing. Nora's 82. She look good for 82. Bertha, 80, amazingly great. And Mama Joyce, 72. You better do it. Love it. So she wants to get them, she get their ideas. Pretty much they all say the same thing. They don't like the people working there. They don't need to work there. She even talked about Chandraka and called her Chandrilla because of her attitude. She even said that Brandon, who's the manager, have said he don't like working here. He don't give a shit. But Kandi had to check her mom and say, well, Mom, you pretty much have told him before that he shouldn't work here. You said he don't do nothing. And then we talk about Chandrella's nasty attitude and everything. And Nora, she talks about if somebody takes one more step out of line, she'll throw their ass over a fence. She said, you are 80 years old. You can't be threatening people to throw them over a fence. Can't do that. So, Kandi did not expect for them to be at the restaurant every day. She didn't want them to have stress on them going to the restaurant, right? So, what can we do to make it smoother? Well, she wants them to not be in the kitchen. And look at Mama Joyce because she tends to hover and maybe start serving. But girl, you can't serve. You might slip and fall. Don't do that. Then you guys are older and I don't want you guys arguing with anybody. Mama Joyce said, that's fine. I don't argue with people. Mama Joyce. What you mean you don't like arguing with people? And I love the flashback that they did. They flashed back to at that bridal shop when you were about to do a beeline and threw your shoe at or whacker with Carmen. Mama Joyce. It's a scheme that Ty set up. I'm not doing this. Mama Joyce. Okay, Mama Joyce. You feel like you've been completely non-confrontational, non-argumentative. Okay. She said, Kandi said, Mama, don't even try it. Even Aunt Bertha and Aunt Nora looked at her like, girl, are you serious? You know how many fights we've seen? That fight between you and Ty's mom? Woo, child. I can't. That was some good times, too. That was some great times of Housewives of Atlanta. Okay, so she tells them about the celebration that they're going to have at the reunion. Then we see Torin, another member of the restaurant. He is the events manager. He is in the event planning business for the last 12 years. Excuse me. And he started OLG Friday Night Live a year ago. But he was stretched too thin for managing that, so he quit. But right now he wants his job back and they enjoy his energy that he brings. So he's setting up everything. And all the couches, the DJs, the balloons. Shauna arrives, and her and Dominique have a very good friendship. They've been there together. They've been there from day one of the restaurant, and it's been established. They got each other's backs. So Shauna still feels a way about Philip, but we don't know what's going to happen after that. Brandon and Dom have a big flirtation energy going on, but there is no fraternization with workers. Workers can't date. Okay. Well, they're going to try to blur that line this season. So, yeah, right now we just see how nice it is for the old people versus the new people. Ty wants to hire a whole new staff because he feels like, I'm not going to be babying these people. You know what I'm saying? They've already had their reign of doing what they want to do long enough. We need some new people who's going to do the work without any questions, without any complaints, okay? So, Torrin was decided to come back because he wanted to continue to work for Black-owned business. Okay. Dom, Torrin, and Shauna have a great relationship. They're really good friends. We see another member, Brian. Brian is an ex-head bartender. He's a shade queen. He's from Los Angeles. He's now promoting his own food business. Get Your Grub on Atlanta. He's making soul food egg rolls. I was like, you just making egg rolls, but they're soul food. So he pretty much is incorporating soul food and egg rolls. Okay. Obviously he was really good at the restaurant. They enjoyed his energy. They enjoyed him. He was excited about coming back, but he had to quit because he had some personal stuff to go through. So he decided to fix that and they come back. He was really excited that his business really is paying off. He has eaten at the OLG restaurant. He said it's like Patti LaBelle. It's a hit or miss. I'm like, for real? That's your job. You gonna say the food is good, but it's like it's not over the top? For real? Okay. Kandi said, so good to see you. You got a new hairstyle. He admitted it. That's a curly toupee that he got on his head. I was like, okay, you admit it though. So they hired she told them they hired a consultant to get everybody to get back in order. It'd be nice if you can come back and you can, like, you know, make your way into come back to the restaurant. Another member, Rashad. He's 28. He's from Baltimore. He is a host over at Blaze. And he has a keen eye for fashion. He does. His suits that he wears, amazing. I want them to be a little looser. They look very tight. I see his ankles a lot. Okay. So right now, Kandi wants to offer him to come on certain days where he's not hosting at Blaze and when Shauna's not on shift, you know. So she said he brings fashion at the restaurant. So hopefully he can bring fashion and energy at the other restaurant, because he just talks about how all they wear is jeans on top of jeans. Well, OLG is in the, you know, the hooded part of Atlanta. You know, the cut where you get really good eats in the hood, you know, in the cut somewhere. So Rashad wants to be a team player. He said that he can adapt to any environment that he's in. Then he meets Dom, and Dom is drunk. She even says she's drunk, but she said, I'm not drunk. You are. You're slurring all over the place. You falling out. She was drinking a lot. And I think when Brandon came over the first time to flirt, but also to see if she's eating, because all we see her is having 2 cups in her hand, right? So seeing that Dom was playing, she was about to throw up, Ty said, cut off the liquor. I don't want nobody laid out. Cut it off. So it's the next day. They're preparing for a new day. I think this is a Saturday, right? So Rashad comes in. He's starting his first day. He's hoping that, you know, the opportunity that Kandi gave him, he wants to do the best. And they are about 6 minutes away from opening the restaurant. And Shauna is 10 minutes late. 10 minutes away. And she's always late, but she says she hasn't gotten used to Atlanta traffic yet. She's still learning. It's been 4 years. She still needs a GPS. She moved to Atlanta right after college. And she says she's always late, so it's nothing new. So she literally arrives like a couple of seconds after they've opened the shop, they've opened the restaurant. And it's not good enough for them. Don Juan was like, girl, you know what time we open. Why aren't you here? Philip don't think it's a good representation of the restaurant. And it is early. To be on time is to be early. To be on time is to be late. Now, when I was working in retail, I used to work in the 99-cent store. I was on it about me arriving at least 20 minutes to work every single day. Like clockwork. I would plan and carve out my time to leave my house and go to work. Lately, for the last 2.5, 3 years that I was there, I said, fuck it. Real talk though. I literally will wait until the last minute to leave my house to go to work. If I have a shift at 9, I'm leaving the house at 8:45. And I will walk, and I would literally be less than 2 minutes until I have to clock in. Because I felt like at that point I didn't care anymore. I didn't want to be there. So I was like, I don't need to be my mind, because I had severe anxiety the last couple of years that I was working. I just feel like I don't need to do this no more, because I really hated coming to work. I really did. So she walked in like nothing happened. You know, got her station, did what she had to do, right? So she's showing Rashad the ropes, how they come in, take the numbers, take the party, take the reservations, and everything's on a checklist, you know, on a paper. And he asked her, do you have an iPad? She said, no, baby, we don't have an iPad here. We're in the hood. Okay, welcome to Old Lady Gang. Saturdays are their busiest days. They have 4 rushes that carries them through the afternoon to the night. So we got 12 that goes to maybe 1, and maybe goes over to 1:30. 2:30 comes in. And that segues over to 4. Then 4:30 comes in, and then it leads to 8 o'clock being the final rush, and people just be waiting to eat and then go out to do their nightlife stuff. So we see some type of cordial reaction between Shauna and Philip. He's asking her, you have a 2-hour wait time? Yeah, okay, cool. So Philip can still do his job while going over this hump with Shauna. I think she can too, right? So now he's trying to talk to Brandon. Now that we have 2 greeters on the floor, we can communicate about how things can go. Brandon's not paying attention because he's too busy looking at Dom at the bar. So Philip was like, you got it? You know the systems and how to access everything? Yeah, I got it. Okay. So Brandon does not like Philip. Excuse me. He thinks that Philip is too uptight, and that's not the way he would try to work in this environment. So we see Shauna trying to do her hostess work, and she tells the guests they have a 2-hour wait time, an estimated time, and you have to be careful with telling them. You have to say estimated time because they can hear 2 hour and they can come in and say, I'm ready to be seated. So she's letting Rashad know how things can go being in this restaurant, right? How, little quick notes, quick tidbits, quick shortcuts, right? Because they will come back, they will be aggressive with saying, I'm ready to be seated, okay? So while she's showing him the ropes, Rashad makes a comment about how she has a dermal piercing right here. And he feels like she's not a good host because she has a piercing on her neck, and that's not appropriate place, or that's not an appealing place for someone to tell you where to eat and serve you food. That's not cute. I was like, what? Rashad, good night. That wasn't necessary. And I liked her dermal piercing. I think it's cute. And it's not blinding me that she can't conversate and tell you have an estimated wait time for 2 hours. Would you mind waiting at the bar? She can still do her job with having a certain piercing or a tattoo. You are really judging by her appearance rather than looking how she works. Yes, we recognize Shauna has an attitude, but in this instinct, Shauna was teaching you how to do things, and you wanted to... Really? You want to talk about her piercing? Talk about how that's not cute? Boy, good night. So while she's telling him how they tend to feel downstairs before they go upstairs, they tend to work the floor, he's getting tired going back and forth down the stairs to see people. He said, I don't do this. Because obviously it's a long-ass line around the block in this hot-ass Atlanta day, a 2-hour wait time. She's telling folks, you have a 2-hour wait time. You can wait in your car, in the AC, or you can have a seat at the bar. So giving people the options of trying to be comfortable while they have to wait 2 hours to eat. So obviously he doesn't even know where to put the other parties because downstairs is full. He sees people at the bar. This is chaotic, right? So the aunts and Mama Joyce come in to see how everybody's doing. Brandon is at the bar flirting with Dom, asking her out on a date. And he wanted to wait a minute before asking her out because there's no fraternization at work, right? So originally, Brandon was a customer when he went to the OLG restaurant, and he saw Dom at the bar, and he put out his application the next day to work for her. I'm sorry. Brandon was a customer at first, and when he saw Dom as the bartender, he put out an application the next day to work with her, and that's what they asked in the confessional. So was that your original reason to work for OLG? He said yes, because their sexual attentions is off the charts. Okay. So, more people are coming in. They're entering the second rush hour. We see a 2-hour, 3-hour wait time, and then the power goes out. It's dark, and it's starting to get hot. I see Dominique's makeup running. Everybody's fanning themselves. It's so hot. You cut off the air, a restaurant gets hot really, really fast, right? So Philip is checking for power outage in the area. He's checking if the entire block has power outage. And he's concerned of the restaurant people. They're going to sit in this restaurant with no AC. We don't know if they even ordered their food or paid their food. Who's to say they're going to use this opportunity to do a dash in? You know what I'm saying? A dine and dash. Who's to say? You know? Because we can't give everybody free food. So let's see what we can do. So he informed everybody outside that there is a power outage. We will work on getting it situated so we can take names. Because obviously they can't take names right now because there's nothing in the system that can keep all of the orders and all of the seatings and the people who arrived in, they need orders so everybody can get taken care of, right? So Mama Joyce called Kandi. She's on her way. She said, how is it on the day of all days I have to pull up and the power runs out? How long had the power went out? She said about 10 minutes ago. Oh my God. So she walks in. She sees the customers in the dark with their phones, flashlights on. This ain't gonna work. This is the worst day because Saturdays are their busiest days. They be having a long ass line around the block. And who they gonna blame? Kandi. They gonna say, Kandi didn't pay her black bill. Kandi should have electricity shooting out of her hands. It's stressful. So Kandi is walking around checking on the customers, and she hopes that they don't put this on Yelp, a bad review. I was eating at the OLG and the lights ran out and my food was this and that. I got really, really hot. I passed out. Hope I don't get no bad review about this, you know. So obviously, some of the staff members sat down. We got Melvin, the cook, Brandon, the manager, and Dom, the bartender, taking a break and sitting down, right? Because what we supposed to do? Can't do anything right now, right? Philip don't like that they're sitting around not doing nothing, not figuring things out. So he wanted Brandon to manage the tables, Melvin to go back in the kitchen. She said, what you gonna do in there? You can't see. You can't cook. What you gonna do in there? He's, I don't know. Okay. Yeah, what you can't see. Yep. Philip is feeling a way about Brandon, who only wanted to take a break and not trying to do his job. So then Phil tells Kandi about the power, and he called, and it set up about a 3.5 hour until it's back on. She said, are you serious? Yes, 3.5 hours of darkness. And the only thing she can think of right now is buying a generator. I mean, they're approaching their second rush hour, and they have 2 more to go through. It's about 3, and the time it takes for the power to come on, it'll be 7. That's about 3.5 hours of business that they could lose. So she said buy a generator. They've been thinking about buying a generator, but Todd is being so damn cheap and trying to complain about all the steps he has to do to get a generator. So he wants to say, I can handle with 1-2 hour of no power. Todd, that's not good. Stop being cheap. Buy a generator because this isn't working. You really want to lose out on 3 hours and obviously money from this restaurant because you didn't want to buy a generator. And Kandi even said this area gets a lot of power outages. Power tends to shut off at certain times over here. If you knew that, why didn't you guys plan ahead and buy a generator? If this area tends to have a power outage all the time, hello? Think ahead of these things. Why y'all doing this? This isn't right. No, I don't like that. So now Philip has even more of a reason why he's definitely needed to be at this restaurant. Because there's a lot of problems with the restaurant. There's no generator. You guys don't have a crash kit for credit cards. Y'all don't have a manual card reader. So it's kind of like, how do you guys go about handling these problems and getting y'all money? Because that's all Philip is thinking about. I'm trying to help y'all get more money here. And y'all really going to be losing out on money because y'all didn't want to buy a generator. Y'all didn't want to buy backup forms of payments or forms of equipment used for people to pay their meals, because people could do a dine and dash here. And I get where he was coming from. I really do. I just hope that he's not looking at Kandi and ties that don't know how to conduct business. That's what I don't want. So then Shauna asks Dom what time is she leaving. She has to stay, but she feels like, what can I do? I can't see anything. I don't even like being here when the AC is on. What makes me want to be here when the AC is off? This is some bullshit. And I felt like, Dom, I hear you. Tell me there isn't one person in this world who don't like being at their jobs, but they're only there because they need a check. Tell me, because I feel like, can we be honest with ourselves? Who always be happy going to work? Nobody. Nobody be happy going to work. But I feel like, you know what? Ty, stop being cheap. Come on, Ty, you know better than this. And y'all do need to come up with a way for things to be smoother, be better. Phil obviously is needed here. The first episode was really, really good. I enjoyed it. I am indifferent when it comes to Philip and Shauna. I understand that Philip needs to be a sergeant, get everybody in control, but there is a way to talk to people. There is a way. And did anybody notice that Philip was wearing makeup in his confessional? He was wearing a lot of foundation and concealer. His face was caked. I said, why are you wearing makeup? I didn't see Don Juan wearing makeup. I didn't see Philip wearing. I didn't see Brandon wearing makeup. Why are you wearing makeup? Okay, but at the end of the day, this was a good episode. I'm enjoying the season, and I cannot wait for more to come. But that's it, you guys. That's all I have. Please stay tuned for my next video, and I'm gonna see you guys later. Bye.